Okay, so in the last class we discussed about different risk management concepts and also some kind of tools and technologies. Okay, like what could be the control against a particular risk. Now we are going to discuss risk analysis and how we will prioritize. So the objective would be these like uh, mm, 1 second, let me just enable my pen. Okay, so we have the learning objectives. In this section, we are going to perform quantitative and qualitative risk analysis. Very important. Calculate the risk scores. We did the risk scoring already, but we will repeat it. Then the build the risk heat maps. This also we did little bit. We'll do it again. Apply the bow tie analysis. This is a new concept. Prioritize the risk treatment. This is also we are going to do. So step by step risk analysis says we have 5 steps. Okay. Step number 1 is identify the risk. First, we need to see what is the risk. For example, if you have a manufacturing company and you do manufacture some of the intellectual property based product, maybe you got a patent or you got a copyright, then what you have to see, the main risk could be that your intellectual property might be disclosed or might be stolen. So that is the one risk you have. Risk says your IP infringement. Infringement means your intellectual property might be stolen. That is one of the risks. Now you have to assign the likelihood. How likely is it? It's very less likely. See, nobody can steal your patent information so easily because you are going to protect it. And also, even if they do it, you can file a, lawsuit on that. So likelihood is going to be less. Impact is also going to be less. Calculate score. If you calculate the score, maybe this is your heat map. Okay. This is your likelihood. This is your impact. And here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It will come like this, very low, because likelihood is also low and impact is also low. So prioritize. Now you are not going to prioritize this risk first because there would be many risks which will fall like this. There would be many other risks which will be fall like this, or maybe they will fall like this. So these scores like 9, 6, 6, 4, these risk scores are falling into high risk. This area is high risk. Okay. So you are going to work on these risk first. Then in the last you are going to work on the very low risk. So this is how we prioritize. Now let's talk about what types of risk assessment is. So risk assessment is of two types basically. One is qualitative, other one is quantitative. The major difference between these two is qualitative cannot be defined in a dollar value. If you want to assess a risk of your company, right, You actually want to know how much money will you lose if the risk is materializing. But there are some few things where you cannot really find the exact dollar value. Any examples? Okay, I'll give one example. It's a brand value. You cannot assign any dollar value, right? You don't know if your brand value comes down, how much dollar value you lost. That is not feasible. But if you lost 1,000 users or 1,000 customers, you know how much dollar value you lost. Or if you lost one server, you know exactly how much amount you lost. Or you
Your voice is not getting.
actually I kept it on mute because I got.
Okay.
Okay, so I was talking about versus quantitative. So qualitative is we can only measure in like high, medium, or low impact. But quantitative is
Screen is not displaying.
yeah. Can you repeat?
Screen is not displaying.
You have not shared the screen.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was. Okay, so I was talking about qualitative. Qualitative you can measure in high, medium, or low. Okay, you cannot really assign 2 crore loss, or you got 5 crore loss, or you got 2 million USD loss, right? This is not feasible in qualitative. Example of qualitative risk could be risk to your brand value and risk to your reputation, risk to anything which cannot be measured in the dollar value. Other risks like quantitative risk directly to your assets, your tangible asset. Tangible means the asset which you can look and feel, like your servers, your customers, your business, your orders. Maybe you are getting some 1,000 orders every week, 100 orders only. So there is a loss of 500 orders. So these kind of losses, these kind of risks, you can measure in quantity. Measure in quantity or called as quantitative. Whatever you cannot measure in quantitative, those would be coming into qualitative. Advantage and disadvantage of both. When you perform quantitative risk analysis, you very accurate. You can give very accurate information to your CISOs, your CIOs, your CEOs that if this particular risk happens, lot of money. When it happens to qualitative, you are not able to showcase them whether you are going to lose 5 crore or you're 50 crores or 500 crores. There is no way. So what you do, you actually do not perform this analysis single. You perform this analysis with a team where you are asking their inputs in a team. For example, we have 3 people on this call. And if I tell you that if a cyber breach happens to this particular company ABC, how much brand value would be lost? And maybe your ABC is a bank, okay? And if major cyber breach happens, then maybe Sudhir is saying it is going to be a high impact. And maybe Jai is saying it is going to be a low impact. And maybe it is going to be a medium impact. So we got one high, one medium, one low. If you make average of all these three, it will come medium. How we perform qualitative? Qualitative is more of a guesswork. People would be basically doing their best guess. And that is the reason single person to perform qualitative risk analysis. We do it within a team so that the guess should be averaged out. More people are guessing something right, their guess would be more appropriate. When it comes to quantitative, this is more of a dollar value, exact money loss. Any questions? Okay. So now let's talk about risk scoring formula. So for example, these are the risks. 1, 2. There are 4 risk issues here. Phishing data breach. Data breach is going to risk on a scale of 9. How? I'll put up graph again. This is likelihood. This is impact. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you talk about phishing data breach, it comes like 3 in terms of likelihood, means it will happen and frequently, and the impact is also high. So phishing comes here. The score is 9. Talk about server failures. Server failures likelihood is 2. 2 means 3 means very likely. This means likely, this means less likely. So it is likely to happen, means it can happen, but the impact would be high. Okay. So if you multiply 3 into 2, the server failure, right? The risk value comes 6. Why it is reduced? Because the likelihood is less. It will not happen every day because it's a hardware and you are maintaining it. Now let's talk about website downtime. Website downtime is likely to happen and impact would be medium. Website downtime. The risk score comes 4. Let's talk about printer issue. If printer is down, which is very less likely to happen. If it happens also, impact would be very less. If there is no printer available for a single day, you're not going to lose a lot of. So this is going to have 1. Now let's talk about which risk you want. Okay, let me ask you guys. Tell me which risk I should be mitigating first. And
High score 9.
yes, so we are going to use phishing data breach risk first. Second,
Let 6.
yes, this would be first, this would be second, this would be fourth. This is how we prioritize the risk. So we have to first identify the value of the risk, okay, and then we can prioritize based on the priority. Next, there is a model we call it bow tie model. If you look at this, basically is a bow tie shape. Okay, this is a tie shape. That is why we call it bow tie. On the left side, this is kind of this middle one is the event. Okay, before this event, this side means nothing happened till now. After the event, this side means so many things have happened. So what happens? Before the event itself, you will be knowing the threats. Every asset will have some threat and vulnerability, right? We already talked about it. If you are using email, there would be attackers who are the basically threat about a phishing email, right? Phishing email is a risk. Okay, email attack is a risk, and attackers are the threat. So in the left side, whatever before the event starts, what you are doing basically, you are doing prevention. Whatever you can do before any particular data breach happens, whatever efforts you are making, those are prevention. After the data breach happens, whatever you are doing, those are called recovery. And before event happens, before the data breach happens, whatever you are having threats, those are the cause of the event. But once event is materialized, you are going to see the consequences, means the impact, right? So now keep this diagram in your mind. I'll explain you few things here. Same thing I explained you right here. Center knot is the top one. This is the top event. Left side is the threat. These are the threats. Right side are the consequences, or you can say impacts. And you have basically here you see this control barriers. I mean, you got some controls which are going to act as a barrier, which will not happen. If you have very good controls, very good security, this event might never happen, right? But even if this event happens, you still have defense barrier here. Like you will have SOC team, you will have people who will be recovering from the incident. Those are going to start working. So now let me explain you more in detail about this particular chart, hazards. So hazard means the source of a potential harm, like sensitive customer data, production systems. These could be your very sensitive data. and hazards might be causing an impact on them. Top event, like I mean, if you remember that here it was top event, right? So top event means the moment when things go wrong. Before this, it was your defense or controls which you already put in place. So what could be the event? Like data breach might happen, system outage might happen, or maybe your internal employee has lost did some misconfiguration, made some mistakes. Any of these event would be called as a top event. Threat. So we already explained threat would be on the left side. What could be the threat? Phishing attacks, weak passwords, misconfigurations. These are the threats. Now on the left side we have preventive controls also. Preventive controls means the security which you already placed to counter the event to happen. So for that you might have already done some sort of security. Those security controls would be on the left side, and those would be controlling the event. They may not let the event happen very frequently. So would be multi-factor authentication. If you have multi-factor authentication, phishing attacks are not very impactful. Security awareness training, if your employees are aware what kind of link you should be clicking, what kind of link you should not be clicking, then the impact of a phishing attack would be very nullified. Patch management. So even if they click the link, if you have updated systems, probably your security is going to take care of it. Then left side things are now explained. Let's talk about right side things. Consequences. So what happens after the top event? You get financial loss, you get regulatory penalties, you get reputational damages. These are the losses. And the loss could be more, even, like one more. But these are the main losses. Mitigation controls. Now, if something happens, some attack happens, you will have a team. They are called incident response team. Okay, they are the people who are usually working in security operations center. We call it SOC. SOC will have level 1, level 2, level 3, and SME level. So these teams are going to mitigate the incident. They would be working. So they will have an incident response plan. They will have a backup and recovery, cyber insurance. In case you are losing financially, then you are going to claim your insurance from the insurance company. So this is how you can reduce your impact. Now let's talk about one example. Okay, we'll map a data breach using a bowtie. Hazard is a customer data. Okay, this is something which we want to protect. Top event is unauthorized access to data. Okay, somebody is able to access the data who is not authorized. What is the threat? Phishing email. Maybe somebody is sending some phishing email. Weak credentials. Maybe somebody is able to steal the credentials. Preventive controls are multi-factor authentication, because if you have this weak credentials will be nullified. Email filtering. If you have email filtering, this phishing email would be nullified. Consequences are very evident. Data leakage, legal penalties. If you are losing your data, you will have legal penalties as well. Mitigating controls. Now, once you got this attack, you will be having an incident response team who would be working to recover from this incident, and you will also have data encryption. If you have encrypted data, even if somebody is able to access the data, they will not be able to use that data. So always keep your sensitive data encrypted. Now let's talk about key benefits. Basically, if you talk about why it matters. Under governance, you are clarifying the accountability of controls. Under risk management, you are visualizing the risk pathway risk. Under compliance, you are mapping controls to regulations. So all these three things you are able to map on bow tie analysis. I mean, this is one of the tool which we will practice in future after your theory sessions are ended. We will have some special sessions about building risk register, working on bow tie, working on Archer, working on some other tools and technologies. So that time we are going to refocus on it, but I want you guys to have some idea about this. So we can build up everything on single map. Now the benefits are it connects risk, it connects to control, it connects to impact. Similarly, it also helps to identify the control gaps if you have something which is not sufficient for your infrastructure. Now let's talk about benefits of bow tie model versus risk register. Risk register is also very, very important. It's not like we are not going to have it. We will have it. But if you have additionally, if you have bow tie model, it is going to help you to visualize the risk. It will give you more visual idea. Risk register is maintained mostly in MS Excel. Because of that only, it would be in tabular format, but it will have detailed information. Okay, so this is the difference. Here you will have show cause effect relationship, means cause versus effect both would be coming together. It is going to mostly focus on risks and those two separately. There won't be any relationship between the risk. But in bow tie model, you are having a relationship between the risk and between the effect and cause. Bow tie also focuses on controls, and risk register is going to focus on risk scoring. So both have a separate purpose, and that is the very reason we use both. We don't use prioritize one on another. Let's take example. There is a privileged account compromised. Okay, now we will map it like this. On the left side, threats. So what could be the mapping here? Phishing, weak passwords, no MFA. These would be coming if you just again here you will be coming like this. Phishing, weak password, no MFA, like this. Okay. Risk event is admin control takeover. So this is this perpendicular bar is the risk event. This is like admin account takeover. Consequences on the right side would be data manipulation, system shutdown, and the third is regulatory fine, penalties. Okay, so these are the consequences. Now what could be the controls? You can have basically MFA, you can have email security, you can have password policy, detective. Detective would always come on the right side. So always look in that way. Preventive means before the event. Detective means after the event. So detective would come right side. So here you will have SIEM alert. You will have UBA monitoring. You can have any kind of monitoring. You can have XDR, you can have SOAR, you can have endpoint monitoring, anything which can be helping you to detect the incident. Corrective, account lockdown, So corrective means you are basically recovering. That is also coming on right side, but you can list out on the top, like here. Corrective. All corrective you can write down here. Like account lockdown. What you want to do? Because the account has been taken over, you just lock that account. So whoever is having that account information will not be able to utilize that to steal the information. Incident response. So you are having a team who is going to perform the incident response. They would be triage the ticket, they would be working on the ticket, they will try to minimize the impact, and then they are going to report it. Now let's talk about heat map. Heat map we already spoke once, but we'll do it again. Guys, remember this chart? Anyone? Sudhir, Jay, Hari?
I think I missed that third class. They have not got.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so basically this is a heat map. We call it heat map. The reason is here you will see green and on the top you will see red, right? This is green. So this is how the temperature changes. As more as you are going higher on the risk scoring, your temperature would go red. If you are low on the scoring, your temperature would be green. So for the greener items, we don't have any action. We don't need to do anything because they are not going to impact you. And more you are climbing on the ladder, you will be finding critical risks. Okay. So here on the impact slide and on the likelihood slide, you are going to measure your risk. And you would be scoring it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depending on your own business or depending on your own idea, you can basically make it 1, 2, 3 also, 1, 2, 3 also. But if you want to make it more detailed, if you have more information, better to go as detailed as possible. Okay. So anything, if I take example of phishing email might be coming here and the impact might be, the likelihood might be frequent, impact might be significant. So if you put a line intercepting both the axes, so you are going to find this number 20. So this number is for phishing. So phishing is having a high risk. Similarly, if I talk about printer not working, maybe printer not working, the impact is low and likelihood might be occasional. If you put this, it will come like this, printer not working. Okay, so this is how you can create your heat map and you can identify which kind of risk you have to work first and which kind of risk you need to work next and which kind of risk you can ignore. So any risk which are in green color mostly, and even in this color like this, these are risks you can ignore for the moment. You can just monitor it. No need to do any action because these risks will not have much impact on your organization even if that particular incident happens. So anything which is going beyond this greener like this, you need to account all these. Anything which is in red in specific, especially this particular corner, you have to first take care of this, because if these happens, you will have a major data breach. Your organization will be facing a lot of troubles if you are ignoring any item which is falling into this particular corner. And even these also. So first you have to take care of red one. Secondly, you have to take care of orange color. Third, you have to take care of yellow colors based on the numbers. Okay, if you have same number, for example, this particular yellow, this is same number, this is also having same number, you can pick any of these two. There is no rule. Similarly, like this 12 and 12, you can pick any of these two. Any questions? Okay, so now there is a case study. There is a manufacturing company, and the entry vector is phishing email. Exploiting vulnerability, which is unpatched VPN server. Risk event is network-wide encryption. Okay, so as you know, ransomware attack, what it does basically? Any idea?
It goes like, like total control of its.
So ransomware attack is going to encrypt all your information, and it will not give you the key to decrypt. That means you will lose your data. Your data is there, but they will put a lock on it. If you have gone through the GRC essentials classes, which I assigned you in the beginning, in that I have already detailed about every attack type. So there, if you get chance to go again, please go through, and you will understand what kind of attacks might happen and what would be their impact. Ransomware is one of that. When ransomware kind of attack happens, they are going to encrypt your data. They will ask you money. They will tell you that you give me this much amount. There would be a big message on the screen. After the everything is encrypted, they will tell, we have encrypted your data. Pay USD to Bitcoin account and get the key. So they are going to ask in lieu of giving you the key. But because they are the attackers, you can never trust them. And even after taking the Bitcoin, they are not going to release your key, right? So it is not advisable to pay the ransom for your information. So what you should have? You should have a backup. If you have a backup, obviously you can restore your information from the backup server. Now let's talk about if company does not have a protection. What would be the impact? They would have some impact on the production. Maybe in this example, they have 4-day production halt. They got 4 crore operational loss, and they got insurance claim. So now let's talk about the analysis. Will understand the risk assessment. Likelihood of ransomware is very high. Okay, it is high. It might always happen. People are there, some companies are there, some state sponsored agents are there who are looking to perform these kind of attacks. Impact is also high, so score comes critical. That means this is something which you cannot ignore. And what kind of controls might be contributing to this attack to happen? Missing patch management, missing network segmentation, missing offline backup. Now let me ask you, how patch management will help? to prevent from ransomware attack?
Uh,
Any
it
idea?
releases, it releases updates that any week, like there is a chance of exploit. Like hackers can exploit the network. So if we pass the new update one, so it will be secured.
Yeah, so mostly hackers are going to utilize the inbuilt vulnerability, whether it could be in the application or in the operating system. So if you have a patched system, you can defend against ransomware. You might stop it from happening itself. Another thing what is suggested here is network segmentation. Why? Because if you remember, the hackers were trying to encrypt the entire network wide encryption, right? If you look at this, what they are doing, they are trying to encrypt entire network. So if you have segmentation in the network, you can basically save some of the networks, and you can only lose that particular network segmentation. Okay, so maybe you have a router here, you got this network, this network, this network, this network, and maybe this is like 192.168.1.0. This is like 10.10.10.0. This is like 172.16.1.0. This may be like 200.200.1.0. IP address could be anything depending on your network architecture. And if attacker is getting access to this particular network, ransomware, he will try to encrypt everything which is coming under this network. So if you do not have segmentation, you will lose all your network. But if you have segmentation, like some systems are on this network, some systems are in this network, some systems are in this network, so only this particular network would be down, everything else would be okay. That is why network segmentation is required. You are stopping lateral movement here. No lateral movement means even if they get into this network, they won't be able to. When they try to go here, they would be stopped. When they try to go here, they would be stopped. When they try to go here, they would be stopped. So this is how you can save from infection to be spreading across your network. Third one is offline backup. If you have your offline backup, you can always restore your information from the backup. You don't need to pay any ransom. What would you lose in this case? Maybe for some time your system would be down, because to restore the backup and to keep the system up, you would need some time, and that time only you are going to lose, but you are not going to lose your information. So these are the things. Because of these controls only, you might be having this ransomware attack. Now these are the things which actually we are going to learn on the risk management. One is Excel, and we are going to build the risk register. I will give you one exercise. Then heat map. Heat map we just did, right? Similarly, we'll do FAIR toolkit. FAIR toolkit is another very important quantitative modeling. This I will tell you after we are done with the theory classes. What we just discussed. Okay, so this is completed. ISO 31000 will discuss. NIST SP 830 will discuss. These are the theoretical concepts. So these we will take as a separate classes, because they are the standards. ISO is again one standard for the risk framework, and NIST special publication 830 is also a risk methodology preferred by US government. Okay, so these are the things, and with this we are completing our risk management. Tomorrow we will start compliance. So any questions before we wind up?